I gave CapCut one finished 6-minute YouTube video and asked its long video to shorts tool to find the best moments. One generation pass produced 11 vertical candidates. The strongest one was coherent, correctly framed, and close enough to publish. It still needed repair. That distinction is the entire test. CapCut did not fail just because a person touched the result, and it did not succeed merely because it generated 11 files. The useful question is where the automation stopped and human judgment took over. For this investigation, I used the exact public export from the previous CreatorRadar voiceover test. I did not rewrite the narration, pre-trim the source, supply a preferred moment, or rebuild the short from the original timeline. CapCut received the same finished 16 by 9 video viewers received. Its job was to select, reframe, and caption a usable excerpt. My job was to decide whether any result was ready to represent the channel. The setup was intentionally simple. In CapCut Desktop, I opened Long Video to Shorts, selected the complete 6-minute 21-second source, kept the default caption template, left the duration on auto, and left the specific moments field blank. Then I ran the tool once. Those settings matter because they define what CapCut knew. It had the finished picture, the final narration, and the source timeline. It did not receive a written brief explaining the best hook, the final verdict, or which evidence mattered most. A prompt could have steered the selection, but that would test a different workflow. The result was 11 candidate shorts spread across 3 rows. The visible durations ranged from roughly 20 seconds to 54 seconds. CapCut found several different angles: first render success, exact cost, human judgment, production history, and the difference between generating a voice and controlling a workflow. That breadth was useful, but a list of plausible topics is not the same as 11 publishable videos, and I did not complete a formal disposition score for every candidate. I will not turn an incomplete review into a fake 1 out of 11 success rate. The strongest surviving candidate was clip 9. Its original duration was just over 20 seconds. It extracted a complete thought from the voiceover test. The first render passed. The exact cost was 4.698 cents. Generation took about 98 seconds, and the result still did not prove that every future script would work without repair. That is a surprisingly good selection. It contains a concrete outcome, 2 measured numbers, and the limitation that keeps the claim honest. CapCut also converted the widescreen evidence cards into a usable vertical composition and added timed captions. I did not have to locate the quote manually or reconstruct the excerpt from the long-form project, so the selection and first assembly passed. The publication test did not. The generated captions needed human review. Wording had to be corrected, line wrapping adjusted, the font reduced to size 10, and a readable stroke applied. Those changes were small compared with rebuilding the short, but they were not optional. A caption that changes a number, breaks a phrase awkwardly, or becomes hard to read can damage the very evidence the short is supposed to communicate. After the caption repair, I watched the complete short without interruption. The excerpt remained coherent, the evidence was legible, and the repaired export passed playback review. No new narration, paid voice regeneration, research, replacement screenshot, or source downline rebuild was required. The repaired candidate became a real public CreatorRadar short. That proves CapCut gave me a useful starting point. It does not prove the starting point was ready to publish automatically. The human checks were still editorial, not merely cosmetic. Did the clip begin with enough context? Did it end on a complete thought? Were the numbers accurate? Did the vertical crop preserve the evidence? Did every caption match the narration? Was the text readable on a phone? And did the whole file survive one clean playback? CapCut helped with discovery, extraction, reframing, and initial captions. It did not assume responsibility for any of those final answers. I also cannot claim a measured amount of time saved. The generation and repair were not timed under a clean stopwatch protocol. The defensible result is about work removed, not minutes invented. I avoided a fresh script, a new voiceover, new research, and a manual rebuild from the long-form timeline. The repaired short received 37 views in its first 30 minutes. An older CreatorRadar short had 5 views after 20 days. That early distribution was encouraging, especially on a new channel, but it does not validate CapCut's editing quality or guarantee long-term performance. Views answer a different question. The editing test asks whether the candidate accurately communicates a complete, publishable idea. Distribution depends on the topic: opening frame, caption presentation, viewer response, channel history, and YouTube's recommendation system. A stronger first half hour is an observation, not a causal verdict. The proper follow up is to check the short after enough time has passed. Views, stayed to watch, average percentage viewed, retention, and traffic sources. If the clip performs well, that supports the packaging and audience fit of this specific short. It still would not prove that all 11 candidates were good or that auto mode will select the right moment every time. This is why CreatorRadar separates production evidence from performance evidence. A tool can produce a technically usable file that viewers ignore. It can also produce a rough file that becomes effective after a careful human repair. Both parts matter, but they should not be collapsed into one convenient success story. My final verdict is that CapCut's long video to shorts feature is a rough cut assistant. Use it to scan a finished video, surface candidate moments, create an initial vertical crop, and place a first caption pass. Keep a person responsible for context, claim accuracy, caption wording, line breaks, evidence visibility, and final playback. In this test, the tool found 11 possibilities and one strong candidate was repaired and published. I did not establish that only one was usable. I did not measure exact time saved, and I did not verify a publish-ready automatic result. The honest win is narrower. CapCut removed enough selection and assembly work to make the best candidate worth finishing. That gives CreatorRadar a repeatable workflow. Start with the final long-form export. Let CapCut propose the moments. Review the candidates against the source. Repair only the strongest complete idea. Then watch the final short from beginning to end before publication. Automation gets the first pass. Human judgment owns the upload. If you want to see the source experiment behind this short, use the related video on screen. That investigation tests whether an AI voice can survive a real YouTube production workflow. This one tests what happens when another AI tool tries to reuse the finished result. Test the tool, verify the workflow.